this is what you need right here. I'm going to do a bucket of pinto beans. Now, it could be rice, could be black beans, could be lentils. I mean, it could be anything. But this time, it's going to be pinto beans. So, holds about 30 pounds. So what I did, got me a 20. They had an 8. They didn't have a 10 for some reason. They do with rice, but go figure. So then I thought I'd give myself a little present and throw this little 20-ounce bag of 15 bean Cajun soup in there. And when I get around to cracking it open, we'll have us a little party or something, you know, whatever. So your mylar bag, there's 2 of them here, but you get what I'm saying. Your O2 absorber, gotta have one of those. And for a little extra kick, I throw a hand warmer in a sandwich bag because that eats oxygen also. Regular 5-gallon bucket. This one isn't even new. I dumped some casting sand out of this because I realized I didn't have any buckets, so I made it happen. And this is a Gamma Seal. I don't know why these cost more than the ones you can get at Home Depot. I mean, they do look to be a little nicer quality, but Home Depot, you can get them about $7. This is $15, so I don't know, man. That's the first time I've used an actual Gamma Seal because I couldn't justify the price, but I ended up, I scored 2 of them, as you can see. So yeah, I mean, I'll show you what to do, because if you're coming to my place, you say, I'm just coming to your house. Well, you better have you about 3 or 4 of these per person minimum to show up at my door. Now, just a little trick that I learned along the way for how to do this problem-free. Your first big bag, in this case the 20-pounder, I throw that on top of, or the mylar on top of that, then I put this on top of that. Ends up being a little easier, you don't spill as much. So, now I just put that bucket on top, I flipped it over, and since I cut the inside, now I can just pull the bag out, and look at that, it's all happy. Alright, this is your bonus option here that I'm going for. You put your hot hands in any quality little plastic bag. You just want to kind of keep the hand warmer itself not in contact with the food, because that iron is like reacting with the oxygen, and if the iron's sitting there touching the food, you know, who knows what it'll do. So just a little plastic bag, that's all it takes. It'll keep it from doing anything crazy. Then you leave that plastic bag open so it can keep sucking the air out of the bag as you go. We'll put the other 10 pounds of stuff on top of this, and we should be good. Now, if you've never done this before, you're going to say to yourself, man, I got some space before I hit the top of the bucket. Well, yeah. When you see how we seal this thing, you're going to see exactly why you want to leave a little bit of space on the top, because this can be a headache. I'm going to get this in the corner, and it's going to fold that way, but you'll see, it's going to be a nightmare. We got an iron on the wool setting, and over here, and I'm using this table as kind of a prop, right, buddy? Because I don't have 4 hands. They say to use a 2x4. I use a piece of 1/4-inch plywood because you can get closer to the bucket and get more air out. Now, when I actually do this, I'm going to push it over a little more and try to get more slack out. I'm also going to turn it so I can get the whole thing. But what you do is you just iron this closed. And if you lay it out real good and flat, you get all those little air channels out so it can't suck any air. I flip it over, I hit it a little bit on the other side, and that's usually good. This is easier said than done. The first time you do it, you might piss yourself off, but after doing this, you know, countless times, you kind of get it down to a science. But everyone else uses a 2x4, but I've had a lot better luck with this, just using pieces of 1/4-inch plywood. Makes it a lot neater and trimmer on the end result. Anyway, so this is what you're left with. You got this crazy little flap here. It's like one big solid piece. All you got to do is jam it in here. Now here's what's going on. The seal should stop the air from getting in. Now, if you're not using Gamma Seals, you want to make sure you don't go past that little notch. You're supposed to just seal the end so when you cut it, you can put the lid back on and all that other crap. But if you're using a Gamma Seal, you can go a little further to make sure you got that air trapped so it can't go in or out. Because the lid of the Gamma Seal or equivalent is going to do the function of sealing it once it's opened. So that's why that Gamma Seal is worth the investment for every single bucket, really, to be honest. If you're really, really on a tight budget, you can get a couple of them. And then as you go through some of the buckets, you can recycle the lid and the buckets behind it or whatever. But so far, I've used a Gamma on every bucket that I've done. It's just a habit I get into. But I might even start not using them because I have so many that have Gamma lids that now that, I mean, it's kind of redundant at this point. But yeah. Anyway, if you're using one of those, you can get a better seal. That's what I'm getting at. And it sounds like I'm going into a lot of detail about this, but one of the reasons why people don't do this is they keep telling me they don't know how to, as if I'm responsible for feeding them as long as they don't educate themselves. Well, that ain't gonna fly. And now I'm just gonna make a video that I can send them a link to and say, hey, if you don't have this, then forget about it. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at. We're sort of running out of time here. And I'm not talking about the video. So the last step, you want to label and date what you have. This is going to save you a lot of headache later because you might grab the wrong thing 4 times in a row. You might eat black beans for a month and a half straight and you know, you only stashed a couple buckets of those and you have a million buckets of rice. So to eliminate bad luck, label and date what you got. Use the oldest stuff first, depending on what you're looking for. Now these lids, if you're a 5 foot tall, 90-pound person, I don't know how you're going to get this thing on here. I'm 190 pounds, and I can put my entire body weight on this thing, and when I squeeze my hands, I can click it on. So these Gamma Seals are, you kind of got to know somebody to get one on, but if you're my size or bigger, it's not a big deal. I mean, when I did one of these with Kyle, and he just snapped it on like it was a Lego. So having a little bit of weight seems to help in this particular application. But yeah, once it's on, it's on. I mean, it's almost like welding that damn thing on once it gets there. So yeah, this thing's ready to go into the dungeon. And yeah, that's about how you do it. I know this was a pretty verbose video for something so simple, but I'm just so tired of people saying they don't know how to do it that I'm just gonna show you, you know. This is the easiest thing, and this is the most vital thing. This is more important right here than having a case of ammo. It's more important than having 3 rifles. It's more important than having the coolest sappy plates that just came out. You know, you don't 100% have a reliability of needing those things. I mean, you might, you know, don't get me wrong, but you will definitely need this. You will 100% certainly need this if something goes south. And to not have it, it's just stupid. Why do you do the buckets? Well, if you do freeze-dried food, which I do also, you know, each pack of freeze-dried food is about 600 calories, maybe 12 grams of protein, right? So you do the math there. At $8 a pop, you're getting about a quarter of what you're going to need for a day. So let's call it $25 to $30-something a day for freeze-dried versus, I mean, God, I think I was in the whole $21 for 30 pounds of beans. And rice is even cheaper. The last bucket I did, I was kind of keeping track. I think it was $14 in and out. So not counting the bag and the bucket, you know, $14. $14 for a month's worth of your base calories, you know. And then what you can do with your freeze-dried food is throw 1 or 2 into that mix, and you got a little bit to stretch it on. And once you start gardening and getting that stuff going, then, you know, you can make some stuff happen. But this is going to be the bulk of your calories. So without this, your better stuff that you have set aside, you're going to go through more of it in a day, where this can let you stretch it out and sort of budget. There's no reason not to have this. This is a lifesaver right here. So of utmost importance. So if you pay attention to anything I've ever said, pay attention to this one.